I think we should start off by talking about what podcasts we listen to or have listened to, and then what's always fascinated me is a bit of the psychology of why people listen to podcasts to begin with, because they weren't really a thing when we were kids. You'd have long form radio
Yeah.
programs and things like that, but podcasts have really taken off since the 2010s, and I'll explain my theory behind why I think that is, but I think it'd be really, really cool to talk about it. Why do people listen to podcasts? What podcasts do we listen to?
Hmm.
Things like that. So,
Okay. So do you want to do that as an I go, you go type thing, or are you just gonna lay out 10 podcasts you listen to and then
hey man, we'll freeform it. We'll talk like we normally
okay.
talk. Yeah.
Well, the first podcast I listen to that comes to mind anyway,
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned it a while ago, Trapped Under Plastic,
Trapped under plastic. Okay, we're
if
we're
you
starting.
recall.
By the way, this is it. We're live. We're doing it live.
Oh, I've assumed that we've been live for like the last 3 or 4 minutes now.
Yeah, but this is core content now. Core content. What did
Okay.
you say? Trapped under plastic.
Trapped Under Plastic, yeah.
What is trapped under
And
plastic?
it's like it's it's a podcast run by two guys who have YouTube channels about um, painting.
Mm.
So they're not really Warhammer channels, but they do feature Warhammer content.
Mm-hmm.
But they're more about painting as a sort of dare I call it high art.
Ah.
So they're always talking about sketching values and understanding tones and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but they have a very good segment. I think we mentioned this off record,
Mm.
um, where I said they have something called a preamble ramble,
Mm.
where they just talk about any old shit that happened to them
Yeah.
during the week, like when they were at the supermarket or whatever.
Mm. That's really interesting. I'm surprised. Well, first and foremost, how popular is this podcast? Trapped under
I
plastic.
I think it's reasonably popular. Let me just go and see how many subscribers they have.
The reason I ask is that to me, a podcast like that where they go into the technical elements of painting, it seems like doing the difference between English language and English literature at school. You know, just doing painting would be English literature, and then doing learning about the technical elements would be English language, and no one likes English language. So I'm
Hmm.
surprised that it's as popular as it is.
Yeah, so they have 34,000 subscribers, which is a reasonable amount. But yeah, I do sort of agree. It is like your comparison to learning English
Mm.
a bit. But they keep it fairly lighthearted on their show.
Yeah, and that leads quite nicely on to my questions about why people listen to podcasts to begin with. I think, as I said, at least to me anyway, learning the technical elements of painting would not be the most enjoyable listening experience. But I think people listen to podcasts more so for the people doing them rather than the actual content.
Yes, I also think there's a large like element of white noise.
Mm,
But you want your white noise to be tailored to your interests, I
mm,
suppose.
mm.
Because when I said that they are like high art,
Yeah.
their painting level is like competition level,
Oh
not
wow.
just like paint your plastic army man type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so the actual amount of learning that I'm doing
Yeah.
probably minimal.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I could believe that there's people who watch it actually primarily for learning.
Yeah, but it's that kind of podcast is an interesting type because as you've just said, they're competition level painters, but you don't get to see what they're painting if it's just white noise in the background. It's
Mm.
sure there are things that you can pick up, really useful hints and tips, but surely with a podcast like that where they're talking about painting, you'd want to see them painting and demonstrating it. So yeah, to my mind anyway, it really goes to show that a lot of people do watch for the personalities and the voices, really.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes even more so than the content itself.
Mm.
Plus, and here's where we get into a bit of my manifesto.
Oh dear.
Oh dear. No.
Let's hear it then.
No, I think one of the reasons people listen to podcasts is the parasocial element of it. The idea that, if you've been listening to someone for a few months, sometimes even a few years, with some of these longer podcasts, you feel like you're a part of their life, and they in essence become part of your life. Let's say you have someone or a group of people that do a podcast weekly, and you've been listening to them for 3 years. They've been a major part of your life for those 3 years. And I think so many things now are attractive to people because of that parasocial element, whether it be podcasts or that really, really popular website that I will call Singular Celebrators.
That was great comedic timing, because on my end at least, you cut out before I could hear what you would call it.
I would call, I called it Singular Celebrators, which is a bad euphemism for OnlyFans. But I think so many of these things are a lot more popular than they would have otherwise been, because people desire that social element that maybe they're not getting in their lives as much as we all used to.
Well, yeah, but also you say it, or maybe you implied it was a recent development.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's maybe just like a extension of what I would call the EastEnders effect. It's on the telly every night. Like you said, a big part of your life. But I wouldn't necessarily say it's a new thing.
Yeah, I get what you mean. I think the difference with between let's say shows like EastEnders or Coronation Street, and these are shows that are much more frequent than once a week. EastEnders, it's every weekday, and as you say, people can start feeling like the cast and their experiences are part of their life, etc. But I think what separates classical television from things like podcasts or streams or online shows is that in a lot of cases you can interact directly with this person that you feel a connection to, right? If you're on a stream or you're doing a podcast on YouTube or Twitch, you have chat right there. You can see what hundreds or thousands of people are saying, and they, not even in essence, in actuality, they have access to you. And I think that's what separates. Yeah, that is the separation between new media, if you like, and older media. Is that access? And when you know that you have access to someone like that, even if they don't read your message, I think for a lot of people that's the hook. That's the big parasocial element that gets them into these things long term, as far as I can see it anyway.
Yeah. No, I think you're right about that. Have you heard of the one guy, or getting one guide?
What is that?
So that's when one person in chat says something, and then the streamer or the personality, they just happen to pick up that one message. And let's say the message is like, "Hey, could you bark like a dog?" And then they do. Let's say that the stream has like 10,000 watchers. One person has now caused 10,000 people's experience to be watching this person barking like a dog, even though most of the people probably have no interest in seeing someone bark like a dog.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's like one person can derail everything.
Yeah, and that might be another attraction to it, is that you as the viewer can not just alter how you experience this entertainer, this podcaster, this streamer or whatever, but you can if you work really hard at it, you can ruin other people's days, or make people's days happy, or etc. Yeah, I have seen that. I've seen some streams where people have been watching for X number of X number of minutes or days, or however it is Twitch categorizes that. And on a platform like Twitch, they have points for people for watchers, for viewers. So if you watch a streamer for a few months, 3 hours every day for a few months, you may have built up enough points, and then you can spend those points to get the streamer to do whatever it is that you want them to do. Or you can donate to say something to the streamer that gets broadcasted to the rest of chat. So yeah, I think you're right. That ability to alter the actions of the person that you're watching, or to alter the mood of everyone else in this forum, in this chat with you, is a big attraction of these things. It's not always for the better. In fact, on a platform like Twitch, it's never for the better. People are just there to let out their frustrations about life. Yeah. If I'm going to suffer, everyone else has to suffer too.
It's too early in the podcast to start talking about American Psycho. We can't do it.
We'll steer well clear from that. Yeah. Have you ever felt that though? Is there anything that you've watched? Because I think it's fair. Well, we left high school in. Well, we won't dox ourselves. Early 2010, right? Or mid 2010. Mid 2010. And I think we came in right at the start of when, streaming, the biggest streaming and social media elements were starting to become normal, and by that I mean you had older people knowing what things like Twitch were. You had older people regularly using YouTube now. All of these platforms became a lot more popular than they had ever been amongst the general public. And so my question, circling all the way back, is did you ever have a content creator or a podcast or anything, any kind of form of entertainment that you felt a parasocial attachment to? Because I think we were a bit... I see a lot of younger people now who were born in it and molded by it, this social media craze, and a lot of them can get obsessed with things like the Sidemen or the Logan Paul guy. Yeah.
Who are the Sidemen?
Oh, you don't know who the Sidemen are?
I don't know what the Sidemen are.
Okay, so the Sidemen are a group of English YouTubers that essentially have formed. Well, this is deep YouTube lore. So there's
is KSI a Sideman?
Yeah, so KSI is a content creator, and he really blew up in the early 2010s. I remember going to school, and that's how I was introduced to him, is that so many of the other kids would tell me, have you seen KSI's video? You have to see his new video. Race to Division 1. You must see it. So in the early days, in the early 2010s, he was predominantly a FIFA YouTuber. So he would make... all of his videos would be about the video game FIFA. Career mode, online competitions, pack openings were really popular for him back in those early days.
I was going to say pack openings must have been a big one.
Yeah, pack openings. I think I remember being shown a video of his at the time, and I think it became one of his... Around that time, it became one of his most viewed videos, and it was a pack opening. So that's who KSI was. He started to really pick up steam in the early 2010s. He was originally a FIFA YouTuber, and so he had a group of friends that he made. One of them being a friend from school, Mini Minter, and then the other ones I think were friends that he picked up along the way through his YouTube career, and all of them became wildly successful, and they branched out from FIFA into lots of different things, and music, boxing, investing all over the place, energy drinks. They built a real empire for themselves. So that's who the Sidemen are. They are a group of young English guys who made it big on YouTube and who are friends off camera as well. And, for people our age, so for example, I remember KSI back when he was just opening packs on YouTube and making FIFA videos. And they were good videos, to be fair to him. He's a very funny guy. But for the generation behind us, they know KSI and the Sidemen as this big, essentially entertainment juggernaut on YouTube now. So, and they have an attachment to KSI that I don't, because I remember him as just the FIFA guy, and he and I are close enough in age that I don't look up to him or admire him or anything like that. But you can see with a lot of the younger generation have this real attachment to him and to the Sidemen that people our generation don't really have. So that's why I asked the question, is that I think with the generations behind us, I think the obsession with online content is becoming a bit dangerous now.
Maybe, but I feel like we might be veering into old man yells at cloud territory, and that we're far too young to even be in that territory. I'd like to believe. But to answer the question asked solo, I don't think I had any YouTuber streamer I was like heavily invested in. Probably the one I watched the most was at the time a YouTuber, now a streamer YouTuber, called Northernlion.
Yeah.
A Canadian streamer.
He's bald, right?
He is indeed bald, yes.
I only bring that up because that seemed to be a big part of well, not his marketing, but his fans like to make fun of him and meme him for that. So yeah, I remember he's bald, and he played strategy games, right?
He plays a bit of everything, to be honest. He had a great tier list video recently.
Oh, what was it about?
Well, he's done a lot, but it was the one I'm specifically thinking about is a tier list of animals he thinks he could beat in a fight.
Oh, okay. So that is on our list of podcast topics.
That is on our list, but he has a lot more esoteric lists, like the best Subway sandwiches and things like that. To be honest, I'm not really interested in making a tier list of Subway sandwiches.
Okay, so there's two roads opening up here, and let's see which one we take. So I really like the idea of that topic, animals we think we could beat in a fight, but we also have our 3x3s.
We do.
To be fair, I haven't made mine yet. So, well, would you like to talk about animals we think we could beat in a fight?
Okay, so do we want to go geographical here?
Oh no.
How do we want to categorize? Do we want to go by continent these animals appear on, or do we want to like go phylogenetic and be like,
damn, you're going into
birds,
deep lore. Oh, so you mean we go by the type of animal, or
maybe?
Okay,
because I'm not sitting here with a list in front of me, but I'm thinking when it comes to birds as a group, the only ones I couldn't beat are the big three: the ostrich, the cassowary, and the emu. Those are the big three which nobody can beat, probably.
I mean,
Um,
not even the Australians could win the Great Emu War, so they had to go scorched earth. No, I think you could beat an ostrich. I think you could
they're
beat
quite
one.
big, aren't they? Let
They
me
are.
let me just
They are
like
quite big.
average weight of an ostrich.
Yeah, but it's not about weight. Okay. We didn't specify. We
In,
didn't specify. So in this, we need to specify the rules of the fight. So in a you versus animal fight, are we talking about we don't get any weapons or anything like that? It's just us.
it's unarmed combat, and you're in, let's say, a circular arena of perhaps 50 meters diameter, shall we say?
Damn. Okay. Can I?
Also, I'm reading here that
Hmm,
the average mass of an ostrich is 63 to 140 kilograms.
that's easy. Easy.
That's not easy.
I move that weight around all the time. No problems. No
Hmm.
worries. Am I allowed to be clothed?
You are allowed to be clothed.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Uh,
like, let's say you're wearing full double denim. You know,
ah, not a loincloth.
no, you're not. No, you're not caveman.
See, I think depending on what you're allowed to wear, it could be great protection or a great hindrance. But if you say double
You're not
denim
allowed to wear like
combat,
20 coats on top of each other.
damn. Okay.
Otherwise, we just get into, oh, I bring a gun and then I win.
No, I think you could beat an ostrich because and an emu actually because the big danger is their speed and their kicking power,
Yes.
and their weight, but their biggest vulnerability are their long necks. So I think
Mm,
if you were to clothesline one of these giant birds really hard, you could debilitate them.
right in the esophagus.
Yeah, right in the esophagus. Um, because surely if you were to clothesline an emu or an ostrich in their neck really hard, there's a good chance you could break um, uh, not their spine, the bones in their neck, and sever
Hmm.
that connection to their brain. I'm taking this seriously. I'm not playing.
Isn't isn't that their spine then?
Yeah, essentially. Yeah, I think it's doable.
Well, I don't know, man. Maybe that's like a 50-50 then. I'll meet you in the middle and say that's
Okay.
a 50-50.
Yeah, but aside from that, yeah, I too agree that I could take most birds.
I
Besides,
mean, look at that. That would end you.
oh yeah, they do have talons.
That's that's a mighty toenail that
It
would
is.
cut you
It
right
is.
open.
That is. But only if they could get on top of you, and they don't have any arms.
I suppose. But yeah, okay. So then, okay, we've examined birds as a category.
What primate do you think you could beat in a fight?
Um, Probably the largest one is probably like a medium-sized. I don't know what they're called, but you know when you see videos of very small monkeys getting fed by tourists,
Mm.
like a medium one of those. But I think once you start getting above maybe like 20 to 30 kilograms of primate, you just start losing. Even if you win, you start losing.
um, I know what you mean.
Chimps are right out, gorillas are right out.
Yeah.
Baboons, you're not going to beat them.
No. Silverback.
That's a gorilla.
Yeah. There's no way. Um, the only reason I'm umming and ahhing is that these smaller monkeys that you mentioned, I can visualize in my mind the ones you mean. They're the ones that
Mm,
you go to a place like India, for example. You'll see them wandering around some towns, and some of the cities, and being fed by tourists and things like that. But the ones that seem relatively non-threatening,
hmm.
and are a bit bigger than your average cat. Um,
Yeah,
I I can see where you're coming from, but I think those little guys would be vicious. I think if they start off at a if they can get a high elevation and start going for your face, I think it could be brutal.
perhaps.
I think it could go
You think it's a Rocket Raccoon situation?
exactly,
Hmm.
exactly. Guardians of
Well,
the
I don't
Galaxy.
know. In my hypothetical stipulated arena, it's just a flat plane. There's no trees to jump from.
Yeah, I think I could. I think I could stomp out one of those little guys.
It,
Yeah,
it's only a 1v1. I
one
mean,
v
I
one.
wouldn't
Yeah,
I wouldn't take my chances with like
a
a
group.
3v1, even with those monkeys.
The worry is if one grabs onto your leg as you're kicking it. No, okay. I'm gonna
You've got
say
another leg. You got three other limbs.
I do. I'm gonna say 95%. I'd take I'd take those little guys. I agree with you. I agree with you.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
It's been pretty uncontroversial so far.
Hmm. Let's make it spicy. Felines.
Okay. Um, Let me just make sure this animal is actually what I think it is.
And all of the animals have to be ones that are extant, that are living.
Okay. Okay. So I'm thinking house cat, yes.
Oh damn, man! Come
I
on.
think now I'm reading here
Hmm.
Canada lynx,
Hmm.
8 to 14 kilograms. I'm like, that's there's a chance,
You
maybe
think
even a good chance, greater than 50-50 odds of winning, I think.
you think you could beat a lynx? Hmm.
If I'm like feeling brave.
Hmm. I I think I'm gonna go. I'm gonna one up you here.
Hmm.
I think I could take a cheetah.
Quite possibly, they are notoriously cowardly.
Not only that, but cheetahs are fast. But in this scenario, we're fighting in a square, in a circular ring. They're not going to
Mm.
have time to build up speed, and they are one of the weaker big cats. Uh, so I think if I grab it by the neck, put my full weight onto it, I think I could take it.
However, aren't they one of those cats that like drag their dead prey up into the top of a tree? I've
Um,
got to imagine you need to be quite strong to do that.
I think, and I'm hoping, those are tigers. That
Oh, really?
yeah. I'm not.
Or maybe I'm
Yeah,
thinking of
I
leopards
can't
and
take a
not
tiger. I
cheetahs.
can't take a tiger or a leopard. Not barehanded. It's just not going to happen. It's just not going to
No,
happen. Um, or a lion. I can't take a lion.
no, not
Speaking
even like a mountain lion.
speaking of lions, this is another pet peeve of mine. And I'm gonna go on this tangent.
Okay, let's do it.
People don't respect nature. So I saw this video on YouTube of a reporter who was in a zoo or something, I believe in South Africa, and
Hmm.
he had been invited into a lion pen by one of these weirdos who think that they've bonded with a lion or something like that.
Mm.
And he was playing around with the lion. The lion daddy, as I'm gonna call him, was playing around with the lion as well. And then all of a sudden, this lion starts roughing this guy up,
Mm.
and it starts scratching him and clawing him and trying to bite him. It does bite him, and rather than him immediately leaving in a calm manner, he just stays in there and keeps playing with it. And the lion dad encourages that because he thinks in his warped mind the lion is his friend. And I've never understood that. I don't get it.
Well, having not seen the video, maybe it's one of those times where, if you try and run, then
Mm.
you like trigger the prey instinct and then you just die straight
Yeah,
away.
no. So they were right close to the gate into the cage, in and out of the cage, and he
Mm.
didn't have to run. He could have, as you say, calmly walked out of the cage, but he just refused. He kept going back to play with it. In my mind, I was thinking, this thing could rip you apart easily. Just
Yeah.
leave the cage. It's never made sense to me. It's the same
I
thing
don't know.
where
People make bad choices.
uh, yeah, um, yeah, animals that could easily eat you are probably not your friends. That's all I'm gonna say.
Probably not.
Okay, so what's the most dangerous animal you think you could be?
The most dangerous.
Yeah, the most dangerous.
Okay, so I could probably beat like a black widow. Those are pretty dangerous, but they're also incredible. They're like glass cannon. Mm, mm,
They're fully specced on poison. Yeah.
exactly.
Uh,
But as long as I've got my clothes, you only need to not mess up your first strike.
okay, that was a fair answer. You lawyered
If
up
you
there.
want an answer that actually is in good faith,
Mm-hmm.
then what would I pick? Hmm, most dangerous.
Mm.
Probably like a small wolf or perhaps a medium dog.
Mm.
And I'd be like, I'm not claiming it would be easy. I'd probably be like horribly maimed, but
Mm-hmm.
that's probably my answer.
Mm.
What about you? You
Uh,
must have something in mind, right?
blue whale.
Blue.
Absolutely.
You're just relying on the fact that the arena is on land.
Exactly. Boom. I did
Outlast
the
them.
I did the exact opposite of you. If you're picking a black widow, I'm picking a blue whale and watching it drown. I win.
Uh,
I
will
win.
that even fit in a 50-meter circle?
If absolutely it will, and I will. I'll wait it out.
Oh no, it will. A maximum of 30 meters.
Yeah.
Huh,
I'd take it on. I'd give
fair
it.
enough.
I'd give it a punch for good measure as well. Just so I can say I defeated it properly.
That's hubris right there. He only has to roll over.
He only has to deploy the flipper.
Mass
That's
13,000 to 150,000 kilograms.
ah. But do they have opposable thumbs? No, they don't.
Checkmate, atheists.
Yeah. Nature favored us.
But horses and other um, what's it called when they've got like a hooved foot like that?
Equine?
Yeah, equine. They're like a no-go. They're just too durable.
They are too tanky. They are too tanky. And there's always a risk that they'll rear up on their hind legs and hit you with their forelegs. Or if you try
Mm.
to get behind them, that they'll kick you with their back legs. It's too complicated a fight to bother with.
You say that, but I think even if it was just standing perfectly still, just taking the hits, I don't think you could you could finish it off.
Yeah, probably not with your bare
Like,
hands. Yeah,
where are you going to hit it that's going to do that?
exactly. Plus, I don't think unless you're, Hafthor Bjornsson or a strongman or something like that,
Okay.
you're not gonna have the arm strength or grip strength to be able to choke out a horse. It's not gonna happen. Their necks are too thick. They're too strong. Yeah, you're right. Their build is too
In the
thick.
editing, someone needs to jump in there and chuck in that Anthony Fantano,
Mm.
damn boy, he thick.
Oh, yeah. Damn. Damn, boy. Damn, boy, he's thick. Boy, that's a thick ass boy. Damn.
What about a kangaroo?
I think kangaroos are overrated. I think their build is fairly weak. It's just that people have this image of a boxing kangaroo, and they think kangaroos are tough. Kangaroos aren't tough.
They do. I am a bit afraid of their like hand talons, though. Not their foot claws, which are obvious. But have you seen a picture of them?
Yeah, they've got quite big claws. Yeah. But no, I think the average human male could take on a kangaroo and win.
I don't know. I think you'd have to be kind of smart about it. I feel like when you say the average human male, your average man would just like attempt to charge straight in and then find himself gored on the feet immediately.
The average human male with sense would do okay. You have to be tactical. You have to be tactical.
What other animals exist to be fought?
Badgers, raccoons, snakes.
The problem is all the impressive animals just easily win.
Elephants would win. Rhinos would win. No, actually, so an animal that has an even tankier build than a horse is a rhino. You're just doing nothing there. Or a hippo. Oh, if you're in against a hippo, oh, it'd be brutal.
Yeah, but they're like the most dangerous.
They are. They're vicious. Yeah, no. A lot of the most. A lot of the sort of one-hit KO animals have tanky builds. Elephants, rhinos, hippos. It's a straight loss. I think hyenas.
Honestly, I'd rather step against like a crocodile than a rhino or an elephant or a hippo.
I think on land.
On land, yeah, on land.
Yeah. On land, crocodiles. It's possible. It's possible. If you can get behind it, they can't really rotate very quickly. But the danger is if it gets your leg, you're finished. Because it's not going to let go.
The death roll.
The death roll, exactly. The death roll. You're finished. I think hyenas would take the average man as well.
I think so. Yeah.
They're just too vicious, too unpredictable.
They're quite big, aren't they?
They are quite big, and they'll laugh at you as they're doing it too. Which is,
oh no.
Yeah. Let's be honest. The only reason why we are where we are is our opposable thumbs and giant monkey brains. So
big old brain.
Brain power. When we spec fully into intelligence. That's the problem.
Arguably.
Some of us did, yeah.
Yeah.
There is a subspecies amongst us. And
some people are doing their best to unspec into intelligence.
And this is where I get into my manifesto.
Oh no. Not in the first episode. You can't do it.
No. We'll ease in. I'll start gently feeding some of my beliefs into this thing. Gently. So then it won't be such a big surprise when I unleash the full manifesto.
Really wish you'd stop calling it a manifesto. You know? It's just unsavory connotations with that word.
I must express my beliefs. This is a free speech country.
Technically not true, but okay.
Oh. Yeah. People, speaking of free speech, I saw a video a video interview of Richard Dawkins, which was really interesting because I haven't, he's been essentially in hibernation for almost a decade now.
He wrote his book and then he just went away for a while.
Yeah, he hasn't made many at least TV or online appearances. But he said something which, as clearly, one of the most intelligent people of his time and, a great contributor to science, he said something which someone like him, I'd never expect them to say it because it's so dumb. He was talking about how free speech is being compromised because people on Twitter react really badly to certain things that people say. It seemed like his idea was if you say something, and
I thought he was all about saying unpopular things and then just ignoring the backlash.
No, but this is the thing. This is the thing with a lot of people who are advocating that you say unpopular things or that you express your views in an unreserved way. They all seem to have this idea that it's not okay to then for people to then criticize that and to come after them. They feel like they're getting cancelled. They feel like the backlash is a suppression of their free speech, when in actuality, at least to my mind, it's a validation of their free speech, because people are saying, yes, we heard what you said and we think it's dumb. We think you're dumb. Stop saying it. But so many of these guys feel like just people thinking that they're unsavory is them getting cancelled in some way. It just doesn't make sense to me.
It's like every time Piers Morgan opens his mouth and then he says he's getting shut down. Yeah. Meanwhile, he has his own television show to publicize his views.
Yeah, it was like his weird obsession with Meghan Markle, which as someone like I don't even, I'm not on social media. I don't know what's going on with it. Even I got recommended about it on YouTube. This man, everyone would say to him, "Listen, Piers, this is getting weird. Why do you keep going on about this woman? Just stop it." And he'd just rant and rave about how he's being cancelled, when, as you say, he has his own TV show to talk about whatever he likes. It just doesn't make sense to me that so many of these free speech advocates struggle with the idea of consequences for their free speech. It's strange, very, very strange. I, on the other hand, will not be silenced.
You will be heard.
I will be heard.
So what did you have for dinner tonight?
Yeah, no, I think
let's do that bit. Let's do that bit.
Beans on toast.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's that doesn't really fit my mental image of you.
What's your mental image? What did you think I'd have?
It's not beans on toast. I don't know. I would assume you'd had
foie gras.
Chicken with something.
I really only have chicken meat on a gym day. I don't eat much meat in most of the time. Beans on toast is good because it's quick. But
it's fiber.
But I had six slices of the thick malt bloomer bread, the good stuff, and then two cans of beans. It was good. I enjoyed it.
That's pretty filling. 2 cans of beans.
Yeah. And I'm gonna have some vegetables, some fruits, and hydrate as well later or after this podcast. So, yeah. What did you have for dinner?
I had a marked down beef and black bean sauce with rice.
Nice.
Probably like the 5th dinner in a row that has just been processed food. So I should probably go and do some shopping. So.
Lifestyle group.
Quite possibly. But yesterday I had one of those days, where you just take a drink of water and you're like, this the best water I've ever tasted. But it's just your own tap water.
Oh. That just means you were really thirsty.
I suppose so, but I didn't really have much inclination to that. I was just like, whew, it's hitting different today. Yep, I saw yet another thing yesterday about hydration, claiming every hour for the first 10 hours you're awake, you're supposed to drink 256 mils of water. And I'm just like, that's too much. Every hour?
This was this from some skincare routine website?
I don't know, it was just on my MSN landing page, so it was probably some crap like the Telegraph or the Daily Mail.
My favorite newspapers. We're gonna steer clear of politics.
We are gonna steer clear of politics. We are.
Yeah, but yeah, I love those that side of the print media. Fantastic. With that, let's call it an end. I'm gonna stop recording, and then we'll have a chat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
goodbye.
Bye. I love